All right, everyone. We are live from Frederick, Maryland, and Rick is from Florida, somewhere down there in the alligator land. So,
Oh yeah.
anyway, all right, guy. Tonight, if you're going to comment on the show, it's best if you are on the show page because I have to read the comments if you're not on the show page off the Facebook page. So I can do that. Just takes a little more straightening it out. But anyway, also, we want to thank Shirt Gallery for our shirts. That Rick, your shirts in the order bank. Um,
Oh,
let's see. Oh, and next week we got a good one. Next week we're going to have a guy that actually worked with Junior Johnson whenever he was racing. So that's going to be a good one. We'll be taking questions for that.
see,
It's
is he gonna tell all the secrets?
Yeah, I think he's past what is it, the statute of limitation line, whatever. But yeah, it's going to be a great time with him. I'm sure we'll get some laughs out of that one. All right, hold on one second while I get over here to Facebook page. So I know everybody didn't pay any attention, but anyway, uh, let me refresh the screen. Maybe we'll get some comments, like straighten up your act or something like that. Here we go. All right, we're live. We're cool. Okay. All right. We promised you tonight we would have where are they at? Where are they now? Not where they at, but where are they now? So this will be. Um, we're going to take 6 cars tonight. That was not the amount of cars we had. We had a lot more than 6 cars, but we're going to take 6 tonight. We're going to try and decipher because we do get people wanting to know where's this car, where's that car, or whatever. So anyway, we'll try and make it as good as we can do it with being we're going through a lot of old material and probably piss a few people off, I'm sure, about what happened to these cars and where they went and why they should have been not there. But anyway, all right, we're going to start out tonight with the 70 Mavericks. There was 2 of them, basically painted the same colors, just flip flopped on the paint scheme. So the one car that we actually sold, it was just a roller. Nothing was in it at all. It was stripped. It went to Harold Denton. And if anybody knows Harold Denton down in North Carolina, he could pretty much destroy anything. And that's exactly what he did with it, destroyed it. So anyway, that car wound up in the scrapyard, and that was right from the words from him. Uh, in fact, I talked to him got 3 or 4 years ago or something. He said that's where it wound up at. The other car, strangely enough, it has wound itself around to Wisconsin, and that car, the body is, as much as I can know from the person that owns it, the body is original, but I have not laid eyes on it, so I wouldn't swear that it's original. But from all indications, it seems to be. Ford actually did. John Glore actually did a article, a little short article in the performance paper that he does for Ford. So anyway, the car is still in Wisconsin. Uh, another guy has owned it. I don't know how many people this car's gone through. Some crazy person actually cut the floor out of it and put a chassis under it. I think it's just not tubing, but box
The,
tubing.
Do we know which? Do you know which car that is? Is that your car or
Yeah,
Chicken? Or
it was the car that went to Pomona, and then we only know it by the paint underneath all the other paint. it's it's the right color. It had that putrid green, crappy color that I know was that car. And actually, somebody did a mark window sticker for it, and it's checks out to be one of the cars. But anyway, I do have. I think I got a picture sitting in the garage when we were building it. That it turned out to be that color underneath of it, whatever it was. It's like green or canary yellow, maybe. I don't know.
probably closer to baby shit yellow.
So anyway, that car is. I have talked to the fellow that owns it. Um, I've tried to get him to sell it to a restoration person, but he claims he's going to be able to do that. But I really question that he has $150,000 or so to actually rebuild that car, the restoration on the car. So he claims he does, but he wanted the paint code so he could paint it first. So I don't know that this is going. I don't know that's ever going to work out. So anyway, if it does, great. If it doesn't, I can't help it. So anyway, I tried to get it to somebody that would do it. And there was plenty of people that wanted the car, but he insisted on hanging on to it. So he'd probably be a little pissed about it. But anyway,
What's he looking for? What's he looking for? The candy apple paint codes?
yeah, I got him he called me for the paint codes. I got him the paint codes
Oh,
on it, but I don't think that's really an issue. The paint codes right now, it needs a whole. Uh, you can't call it a frame. It's a unibody underneath of it. You can't replace the outer one, else you won't have the original car. So anyway, uh, God bless him if he gets it done. So anyway, the next car down we'll talk about is the '65 AFX Bawani car. When we had it, it was originally Tasca's car, the original AFX Tasca car. And that car, I did verify it when I went to Holman and Moody's, and Lee Holman had the actual VIN numbers of the 10 cars, and that car was the number one VIN number car that Holman and Moody had built for the AFX class. So anyway, that was cool. That car is obviously going to be restored. We had a Bawani car for 1 year, and that was a deal that we worked out with Bondi Long, the NASCAR guy, and he worked out a deal with us. We had it for a year, and the car was super car. I mean, that car hooked up, picked the wheels up, run straight as an arrow. Uh, so anyway, it's owned by Todd Warner in Florida, and Todd's had it for, I don't know, I guess 7-8 years. It is over. I talked to Todd out at Barrett Jackson. He is or still does have it at the restoration shop down the street. So from him, and I think he's actually hired 1 or 2 guys that do nothing but work on his cars. Last time I was there, he had like I don't know, like 80 cars in the building there. But I think since then he's moved out of there. But he's still got a bunch of them. So anyway, so that's that. I assume I got on him about not getting it done, but he's got the money to do it. Money is not the object. So he just needs to get rolling on it. That would be great. It would be restored to Tasca, but I still would like to see it restored. Also, the next one is the mystery car of the century, um, 64 AFX Comet, the original Moyer car. I think we painted it twice. We wrecked it on the highway once. Uh, did a considerable amount of damage to it, but I'm sure if we ever found it, we could ID the thing. Uh, but we'll see what if it ever pops up one day. It's one of the cars that we actually sold. Um, Sold it off and never heard from the guy. And usually we would always, sell a car. We'd hear from. We'd either see him at the track or they'd get a phone call. When it pulled out the driveway of the shop, it was gone. So never to be heard from since the. Maybe his wife killed him when he got home. I don't know. Could happen. So we shall find out one day. I'm going to jump over to the. I'm going to come back to one car there. I'm going to jump over to the Boss 429. Um, the biggest pain in my butt car engine that I think I ever ran across. But let me fix something here. I've got comments here and I'm looking at them here. All right. Hello, everyone from Rich. All right. Let me look on here, make sure I'm not missing people. All right. Okay. Yeah, the 429 Boss. We could, or I could. I'm sure there were people maybe that could do it, but that car drove me crazy. I did everything that I thought humanly possible to make it run a different ET, but it insisted on running slow. And no matter what you did with it, the cams, the carburetors, the intake, and nothing made any difference. It just stayed on that. And it stayed that way till so we threw up our hands and gave it to Rick, and he went from there. You want to tell us what you did with that thing, Rick?
Well, we did everything with that thing. We took the 29 motor out of it, put a Cleveland motor in it, and a super modified come along, and we outfitted it for a super modified, and won 4 classes with it, 4 different national events: Columbus, Englishtown, Bowling Green, and Gainesville. I sold it to a gentleman named Steve King, which I think he's listening tonight. And they ran it. They raced it because it was a race car for a couple years. And one of the things that we did is when we made it a race car, we kept everything we took out of it. And Steve King ended up selling to a gentleman down in around Chesapeake, Newport News, Virginia. I think it's Smithville or Smithburg down there near Suffolk.
Yeah.
And Dave Redman, and
right.
He restored it. He put it back to what it looked like as a 29 car with a complete motor and everything. I think you have some pictures of that around on the website or what have you.
Yeah.
But last I heard, I have not talked to Dave in a couple years. He was extremely busy and wasn't doing a whole lot. He also has another race car that he's been working on a little bit. I think it's a restoration, but it's in the garage down in Smithfield or someplace down there, and he's brought it to the shows, brought it to York. I think he brought it to the Henderson show in North Carolina.
He says he's coming up this to Carlisle this year.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would when's Carlisle?
June 1st, second, or third, I forget.
Okay,
Yeah, that weekend.
But that was a fun car, especially fun to win class. Along those lines, um, Tim Surguy. I don't know if Tim's on there tonight. His wife may not let him get on Facebook or anything. Uh, but he and I campaigned that, and that was a lot of fun.
You had another car too, dragster.
Went from a super modified. Um, they came up with a Econo dragster. Actually, they had A, B, and C, and we took the motor out. Well, in between there, we took the motor out of the 70 car and we put it in your old Pro Stock 71 car and campaigned that. And then we took that out and put it in an Econo dragster and went NHRA, or IHRA racing. So we had a good time. Ran pretty well. Didn't win as much in IHRA type of thing. So, but we changed things over. Set some national records with the dragster. Had a number of dragsters actually. I see it on Facebook all the time as Danny Bassinelli out of Delaware over by the drag strip. And he bought it, campaigned it, and seems like he's done quite well. Looks like he's won a lot of stuff, not with that car, but what he has currently.
Right.
And we actually had, I believe, at least 3, maybe 4 dragsters. Sold one to John Parlett out of Clinton, Maryland, Southern Maryland there. And one of them was the gentleman, Sherman Sly, we had on before. We put a rotary engine in one and raced it for a while. So the dragsters were much easier to maintain.
Yeah, no fenders.
Yeah, no fenders, no doors. And you want to change transmission, you just slid the engine forward about 4 inches and you were done. But
yeah, right.
They the Mustang, the 70 Mustang was a lot of fun. Had a lot of help. Like I say, Tim Surguy, and as he was known then, was Little Donnie. Lived across the street. He was a huge, tremendous help because he would come over after school and work in the garage, cleaning up or whatever we needed done within his capabilities, which was pretty good. And he'd go with us to the races, and his mother let him go with us, which she probably regrets that now.
Probably. Yeah.
We got together a few years back, and I think she sat there the whole time with her mouth wide open, going, "Oh my God!" So, but Donnie turned out to be a tremendous person, type of thing. So I'm glad of that relationship.
Great. All right. We'll move on to the next two. And the next one coming up is probably a little bit of an aggravating source. And the next two probably will be aggravating sources. And they probably will get a little upset if they hear me. But I don't really care. Um, Hold on, we got Unity Motorsports Garage. Hey guys, thanks for doing this. How much faster did the car go with the Cleveland car versus the 429? Probably a lot. Yeah. Oh God,
Well,
thanks for the question.
the 429, I don't recall the exact, but it was um, in the 11-second range, and
Oh, I tell you, yeah,
the Cleveland ran 1060s, 1070s, 1080s uh, type of thing.
yeah,
So it was.
whole different animal, lighter car too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
a lot of
was
difference.
definitely more fun going fast or going faster
Yeah, right.
um,
Yeah.
type of thing.
Couldn't be that slow. As slow as that thing was. All right, our next car is the '71 Mustang, and this, like I said, this is a story that just pisses you off to no end. So, in a Carlisle Ford event, I can't remember how many years. This is probably 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. Uh, we had our radio booth there, and this guy walks up to me and he says, you know, I think I know where your '71 Mustang, the old car, is. And I said, yeah. I said, well, that'd be great if you didn't know. You have the guy's phone number? No, he don't. He doesn't have that phone number. Little did I know at this time, this guy was there to stab me in the back. That's what he was there for. But anyway, I gave him my card. I said, well, if you get his phone number, call him. And so he did. About that evening, he calls me and says, here's the guy's number. I think it's the car. So I give the guy a call, and I talked to him a little bit, and he says, he described the car. Uh, and so I said, well, we'll come up there and take a look at it. So it was up near Philadelphia. And so uh, we rode up there. Um, Me and a guy named Bob rode up there, and he said he had the car in the garage, and the garage had was boxes all over top. So he said, I'll get them cleaned off, and I'll pull it out, and I'll put it up on the rack, on the stands. So he did. He brought it out, put it up on the stands, and um, I went over and under it, and the car was about as close any of these cars would be, with the exception of the Boss 429, would probably be as close to a restoration with the least amount of work that could happen. So I talked to him. He told me the amount of money he wanted. I said, well, we'll go home. I'm going to send a roll back up to get it, and he'll have cash with him to pick the car up. So I get back home. No sooner get back home, and I get a call from this guy, and he said, don't bother coming up. He said, I already sold the car. And of course, I went ballistic on him. And so, anyway, I said, okay. I said, well, I bet you this guy will be calling me within 30 days because he's not going to be able to do anything with the car without me. So, sure enough, about 3 weeks later, he calls me up and he says, I bought your old car. I said, yeah, I know you did. You bought it right from under me. And he said, yeah, I just wanted to have that car so bad. I said, okay. So I said, well, what are you going to do with it? He says, well, I need your help to like figure out what to do with it. And I said, well, do you have a camera motor? Oh, my uncle's got parts for a camera. I'm sure we can put a camera motor for it. I was okay. Well, you got a camera motor. That'll work. And then he says, I said, well, how much time? That car needs a front clip. But I said, outside of that, um, can you do it in 18 months, 19 months? Yeah, sure, I can do it in 18, 19 months. And I said, the other question is, do you have the money to do it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got the money. No problem at all. You know. Well, that, like I said, it's about 7, 8 years later. Uh, the guy doesn't answer the phone. He doesn't contact anybody. Uh, and so he just never completed the car. If he had completed the car, I would have known about it. He never did. And so therefore, there's one wasted car right there that will never ever you uh, be restored back because he doesn't want to let go of it. He doesn't want to. And meanwhile, I'm getting calls about where's the car? I want to restore it from legitimate restoration people, not from these people like this. But these people, they wanted to restore it, and they had the money and the parts and all that stuff, and they were legitimate people. This guy never was. He was a stone cold liar. So what can you do with people like that? It's nothing. He's got the car, and so therefore, that particular car, and then one of his, he's a big guy, and his brother was a little guy, and he come around. He came around one time at another show, and he comes around. His brother comes around. And he says, that car had a 429 in it. I said, the car never had a 429. Said, what are you talking about? Yeah, that 429 in it. Yeah, we got pictures of it. I said, well, you bring me a picture of it because it never had a 429 in it. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff you run up to with these clowns. They don't have any money, but they all know exactly how it ought to be. So anyway, that one we'll never see the daylight of anything. I had actually gone up there, made a couple trips up there, and actually Bobby had gone by there a couple times because it was southern Philadelphia area, and never. Yeah, I went up there one time and knocked on the door, and he said, "Oh," his wife says, "Oh, he's down the street cutting the grass." I said, "Cutting the grass?" I said, "What do you mean cutting the grass?" So anyway, so I went down the street, got him, come back up. He opens the garage door up, and oh my God, it was a 2-car garage that was good for 1.5 cars, and it was sad to even look at the thing. And he did have a Talladega uh, car sitting next to it, and it was at 1,000 pieces too. So who knows? It's probably 1,000. The other one's probably 1,000 pieces. So, but anyway, we'll leave that one alone. Uh, and what the guy's point was to stab me in the back about it, I have no idea. But I guess he's happy. So,
What you looked at the car? Why did it need a front clip?
they had cut the inner support panels out of it.
Oh, okay.
But it would have been an easy fix. I mean, it really would have been. And because the doors were there, everything was there exactly like the interior was exactly like it was. The roll cage, everything was in there like it was. Uh, the rear end, the narrowed Dana 60 was in there.
Right.
I mean, it was all there. And the guy that had it actually said, he says, that car didn't have any traction at all. He said, all I want to do is spin the wheels. I said, well, that's fine. I said, I guess I can bring you some pictures if you want to see them.
I can attest to driving by the Christmas tree and looking out the side window at the
right. I mean, that car stand up any day of the week, you know. But crazy, crazy, crazy. But anyway,
I can remember running that, taking it up to 75 and 80 one night, and
well, that's when you put the Cleveland motor
when I had the Cleveland
in
in
it.
it,
Yeah,
and we didn't know what it was going to do, and I left the line about 7,500, and it stood up a little bit, and I said, "Well, that's not so bad. We can live with this." And heck, that thing run, I don't know, 9 something.
yeah,
So come back and you said, "Well, you need to leave on the floor." And I said, "Well, yeah, I understand that, but we're just, you know." So the
yeah.
next run, I left it on the floor, and that thing stood straight up in the air. I can honestly remember seeing the stage bulbs to my left as I went by. I was eye level with the stage bulbs, and I just stayed in that thing until it settled down.
That's all you can do at that point, you know.
You know, that's the car we tested Doug Nash's 5 speeds in,
Yeah, right, exactly.
and and you didn't go that night, but that's the night that the oil filter came off, and I damn near stuffed it in the guardrail at 75 and 80. Um, it was
Well,
and couldn't see
it's really no different now. It might as well stuffed in the guardrail.
it.
This guy here's got it.
Yeah, we had some events with that. Run down run down through the cornfield of 75 and 80 when the brake line broke.
Yeah,
So, and I was told that was your fault. So,
yeah, I'm sure. That's from that's from Danino.
you know, I don't know, but somebody forgot to put a loop in the metal line.
Oh yeah, right. We don't need those parts. It's too much weight.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly. We don't.
God.
That was a wild ride, and all I could think about was, oh my God, I'm going to end up in the swimming pool at the house.
Yeah, there was a pool down there.
Yeah,
Jeez, it was off to the left, but uh, Bill said there was a road back there. I didn't ever see a road back there. But he said
I think the road was way down there,
way
but
down there.
it tapered when the corn was harvested and it was down. You could see farther, but
Yeah,
I was there when the corn was up,
right,
and
right.
it tapers down to a point, but that point empties into a person's house swimming pool at the in there. I
Right.
went as
Yeah.
far as I could go before I was like, this is going to get ugly. And I just turned the wheel hard right, and it spun sideways in the cornfield, and that's where we came to rest.
You pick the
But
corn.
but it it, it was funny. The tow vehicle come over the hill and was stopped and looked like, where is he?
Oh God.
So who was there? Tim was there that night.
Mhm. Well, our next vehicle is last on the list, but we we have other cars we haven't brought up yet, so maybe we'll have that on another show. But anyway, the next one is the sad to say is the Don Hardy Pinto. Um, Same deal. A fellow up in Pennsylvania, South Philly, owned the car for many years, never done anything with it. Um, so I had called him and I said, I said, how much do you want to sell that for? He said, well, I was just planning on putting it in on an ad for $2,500. This was a roller, uh, but the car had been rolled. Speaking of roller, the car had been rolled and uh, rebodied. So that, yeah, it needed rebodied again. So the issue there became, he said, well, all I want is $2,500. And I said, well, I can get you more than that for it. So anyway, I went ahead, advertised it. And so Don Hardy, Jr. gets a hold of me and he says, I want that car. He says, I want that car back because I've got one of Sox and Martin's cars back, and I have one of Glidden's cars back. He said, I'd love to have your old car back, and he said, I'm willing to pay the bucks for it, you know. So anyway, I called the guy that had it, owned it back, and needless to say, we got into a little argument over this whole deal because Hardy wanted the car, and the problem or the issue that no one realizes with that particular car is that to duplicate that car, very, very difficult unless you're the guy that built it or you were around the guy that built it. So that car had things about it that other Hardy cars didn't have. And so if you don't know what to do with it or what to do to it on the restoration, you're not going to have the original car. And so anyway, this guy went ahead and sold it to this guy in North Carolina. And the guy, I said, well, I said, I hope you don't need a letter of authenticity because you're not going to get it. If Hardy wants it, I'll give it to him, but he ain't going to. I said, I'm not giving it to you. He said, oh, I don't need it. I don't need it. I said, okay, go ahead. Don't need it. So that one there will never be restored like it was. So that's two of them. We can just bet on a waste of time there. So anyway, and you actually went and picked that car up, didn't you? At Floydada, Texas.
Yeah, Floydada, Texas, Dry County in Texas.
Right. We did tremendous amount of business with Don Hardy himself, and through the speed shop that we had, and we sold a lot of stuff there, and we had a great relationship with Hardy. So, and then, so there's two cars you can just about put them in the dumpster. It's sad, and I don't know about the poor guy with the Maverick. I don't know. He wanted to know if I could sell some T-shirts for him so he could get enough money to help do the car. I said I couldn't sell enough T-shirts to pay for that deal. I said, you're looking at $150,000 to do this car with the camera. And he said, well, I want you to do the camera. I'm like, you better get some money together before you talk about that. So anyway, what do you do about them? They get them and they just want them because they're of the history of the car. They're not going to fix it. They're not going to cure it. They're just going to waste it. So anyway. And meanwhile, you get people like, oh, I want to restore it, but that legitimately can restore it. Oh gosh, it's crazy. So anyway, all right. Anybody got any more questions? Hit me and Rick on the comment line here. We got oh my God, yeah, we got some time, not much time, but hit me up some more questions here. Let's see what we got. We can tell a lie just like the rest of these guys that tell these lies to us. Let's see. My Andy, I know Andy's got some more questions. Andy, give us some question here, buddy.
Well, Steve King owned the Mustang. He's supposed to be on tonight.
See, we are on, I don't know if everybody notices or takes stock in this, but we're on Facebook, the Sam Auxier Jr. show, and then we're on my personal page, which confuses a lot of people, I know, but I started on there and I've never stopped. So, and the other thing, we're on YouTube, and we are on, which I've never gone to in my life. I just have it on there. It's Twitch, and so anyway, got 4 places to be there. Here we go. How long did you race the Pinto? Let's see. I guess we picked it up, what, 72 or 71? What hard do you have there?
Well, 71 car would have been 72.
72, right. Okay, 72
So
to 75.
72 or 73.
It had to be 2. And then we sold it in 75. When we sold it, guy came down with a bag of cash. I'll never forget, he had a bag of cash. And I talked to him some, and I said, okay, this car is going to take a roll here. You're never going to be able to handle this car. And anyway, sure enough, I think 3 months later, he went down to North Carolina somewhere and rolled it. The car was very, very squirrely down in the lights. It was horrible. But of course, we didn't have any spoilers on it back then. I think we had a rule against the spoiler back then. Or else we'd had a spoiler on the car. Some NHRA Looney Tune thing. And see, that was the other thing with NHRA. They didn't like the way that car measured. I told Greg Exacalis that if he could get another kind of ruler to measure this thing, because it keeps coming up wrong. Here we go. Andy's got another one. Did you run the Doug Nash in it or the Lenco? Car was made for either one, and it was sort of a crossover time, but we ran the Lenco. I chickened out, put the Lenco in it, because we could have got Doug Nash transmissions. No charge, So anyway. And of course, my dad and our dad, without him, we could have never have done all this. Without that and Ford Motor Company, we'd have been running that Econo dragster the rest of our life.
Yeah. But by the way, there's nothing economy about an Econo dragster.
Right. Yeah, we know that one.
That's just a fictitious name they gave it.
Exactly. Oh, God. All right. I don't want to keep, oh my gosh, we've been gone 45 minutes, so that's not good.
It's after 8 o'clock. It's close to your bedtime.
I'm telling you right now. Also, don't forget, next week, we have former employee of Junior Johnson, which I promise you, because I spoke to him on the way back on the airplane from Bear Jackson, and I promise you we're going to have some fun with this. So he's got some stories about why Junior was winning so many races. So anyway, it'll be good. Hope all of you can get back here then. Anyway, we're going to end this. Don't forget the shirt gallery for your t-shirts or embroidery work. Just give them a call. They're only a short ways to that famous area, Auxier, Kentucky. So,
okay.
So we got the name right on the street sign as you approach it. There, Auxier, Kentucky. All right. Thanks everyone for stopping in, and of course, all of our shows you can watch them any day of the week. They're still posted. We don't take anything off. Thank you, Rich, for the comment. We like doing them. So anyway, anybody's got any other suggestions, email me at Sam Auxier, AUXIER, @MSN.com. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Good night.